Mindy Oliveras. I am the board chair for Senior Neighbors, and I'm joined today by Bob Barnes, our executive director and president of Senior Neighbors. For those of you who have joined, thank you so much for being patient with us as we work through some technical difficulties. Certainly in the time of a pandemic, it always challenges us to try new things. And so we do appreciate you all taking the time to learn a new technology and to join us virtually this morning. Want to start out by telling you a little bit about Senior Neighbors. We serve about 4,500 seniors every year. And that can come in the means of transportation, food services, case management, etc. And we're coming to you live today from our Grand Rapids Center, where this past year during the pandemic, we've served more than 40,000 meals to seniors in our community. So a little bit later, you'll be able to have a tour and be able to get to learn a little bit more about what we offer within the community. First, I want to thank all of our Senior Neighbors staff, leaders, and especially the care managers who have worked tirelessly to reach out to our seniors and make sure that they have connection to the important services that they need, as well as to be able to connect to each other, be it through a virtual workout class and or opportunities to just remain connected in the community. I'd also like to thank my fellow board members as well as other attendees joining us. At this time, we'd also love to thank our sponsors who, without them, none of this would be happening. Particularly, I'd like to thank our gold sponsors, the Klopsic Family Foundation, as well as our silver sponsors, Health Alliance Plan, Mission Point Healthcare Services, and HealthBridge Post-Acute Rehabilitation Services. So I'd love to share with you what you can expect from today's event. We'll tell you a little bit about the Senior Center, as well as you'll have a great opportunity to get to know one of our valued seniors who has come to the center for a long time. You get to meet our director of the Senior Center, Jonathan, and he'll be able to share with you a little bit more, as well as you'll get to hear about Senior Neighbors overall from our president, Bob Barnes. As you know, it's really easy to get lost in everything that's happening around us. You're oftentimes tapped to help support many, many worthy causes. What we're hoping to do today is to inspire you to help us continue to provide the necessary services for our seniors in the community to help them remain independent, as well as to maintain their dignity and to avoid any type of social isolation. With that opportunity, we'll provide you many ways in which you can do so. If we've inspired you at all, you can either do it through the QR code that you'll be able to scan with your phone and pull up. Otherwise, you may also join seniorneighbors.org/give. And with that, I would love to turn it over to Bob. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mindy. Morning, everyone. We're so glad that you joined us today. I've had the privilege of working at Senior Neighbors for over 30 years now, and this year, of course, has been a year like no other. Obviously, COVID has had a significant impact on older adults in terms of their health. And the people we serve at Senior Neighbors, the 4,000, 4,500 people we serve, and about half of them are alone. And so it's always something we're concerned about. But it really has been a more significant issue, obviously, this year with all the social distancing going on and people. So I want to tell you about the services that we've been involved in this year to help seniors maintain their independence. That's really the goal of all of our services. We're really a wellness organization that helps people maintain their health and maintain their independence as much as possible. And Mindy mentioned transportation. We do transportation a couple different ways. We connect people to public transportation, as well as we have our own buses, and we're part of a program called RideLink with a number of different partners that provide people rides to the doctor, the grocery store, and other important appointments for them. We have found this last year, actually, people were not going out as much. So often, instead of transporting people, we were transporting goods to people. So we were taking food to people at their center, or excuse me, at their homes, from the centers to their homes. We were taking toilet paper. There was a while where toilet paper was really difficult to put your hands on. So we did a lot of delivering to people. We also do home maintenance. So we do minor repairs in people's homes. We also do, in that program, we do some lawn mowing for people, and we also do a fair amount of snow removal and that sort of thing. People often are living in the homes they've been in for many years, and at the point where they are in their lives where they're least able to take care of repairs, often the home is in the most need of repairs that it's ever been. So our staff can go in and help with that. We also have a number of volunteer programs. So we have a lot of seniors that are that have absolute capacity to give back in a variety of different ways. And so we have volunteers that work with children in schools. And you can imagine that that has been challenging this last year. We're actually getting them pads, electronic pads, so they can actually connect with kids from a distant location. And that has been a challenge. We have senior companions that work with older adults who may have cognitive impairments, and they can provide respite in the home as well as in senior centers. Again, they've been reaching out on the phone and trying to stay connected with people because they haven't been able to gather in person. And then we have the RSVP program, which is the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. All seniors can volunteer in just a variety of different ways throughout the community. Also, it's been much more difficult this year as things have been shut down, but they've been finding ways to volunteer in spite of all of the isolation. We have case management teams that help people solve problems. We have specialists that help people figure out the best Medicare plan for them. We have a team that works with refugees who have all kinds of challenges and barriers to staying independent and healthy. And we also have a housing coordination team. Affordable housing is really difficult to find in our community at this time. And so the housing coordination team can really help people find a way to make sure they can have a housing situation that is safe and affordable for them. We also have a lot of healthy aging programs. For example, falls happen to about a third of older adults every year. And so we have classes that can help people learn to avoid falls. We have Tai Chi classes. We actually have opportunities for people to engage in those things, typically in dozens of locations throughout the county. And right now we are just reopening some of those outdoors, and people are really excited to be back together. Outdoors obviously adds some extra layer of safety there. And so we're really excited to get some of them going again. We have been, over the last year, really been doing Zoom classes with fitness classes and Tai Chi and so forth. So, and then we also have 5 senior centers. We have centers in Granville, Lowell, Sparta, and Walker. And we're actually coming to you right now from our Grand Rapids Center, which is in the Hartside area. And so we have generally been, since we haven't been able to get together, we've been talking to people on the phone, and we've been on the phone, and that's we have actually and maintaining distance and the short hours and any put in place, but we're really going to do that. And at this point, I introduce you to Jonathan. Jonathan is the coordinator. He's been here for over 3 years. And Jonathan, tell us a little bit about your work here.
Thank you. Welcome everybody here. I would say that probably the last 3 years of my employment here have probably been some of the best years that I've, put in anywhere. I come from a background of, over 20 years of employment in the field of social work. This was actually not the job that I applied at Senior Neighbors for. I actually applied for a case manager position, and I got hired and I began training. And they asked me to come down here and look around and tell them what I thought. And coming down here, and I just felt like a welcoming kind of vibe here. I talked to some seniors. They seemed really engaging, and I felt captivated right at the time that I came down here. Ended up taking the job, and I've been loving it ever since. I kind of have really grown to kind of understand the dynamic neighborhood, this Hardside area, specifically with the homeless population here. Uh, our seniors are a really vulnerable population, and so the work that we do here is significant to address their particular needs. Um, I will say probably 60% of our that come here daily are in some sort of transitional housing. And so this is really like a home to some people. And so we kind of have developed a family atmosphere. Um, and so with that being said, a lot of the programs and events that we have here are catered to that specific, population. So whether it be, the housing case managers that we have on staff actually coming down to this center, or the Medicaid staff coming down right to this center to interact with people. I think that, those are things that are really a need here. So it's been a great ride. So
Cecil, tell us about a little bit more about the population you have here. This center, one of the things that's unusual about this center compared to most senior centers is that we have more men that come here than women.
right.
And talk to us a little bit about the more about the people that come.
Like I said earlier, I would say 60% of our members are in some sort of transitional housing. Out of that 60%, maybe half of that are like actually in a shelter. Some live on the street, some are living on a couch. And so part of that initial conversation when people come in is trying to, connect them with resources to get housing, connect them with resources to obtain identification, connect them to resources to get ID and, food. And so I think it makes an interesting dynamic because they have to, they have to live in this environment. I think, in the winter and the summer, a lot of the weather changes. That's a dynamic that we have to deal with. And so, like water or clothing, are a lot of those things that we try to have on hand to be able to address those needs. I think having a large male population here, it creates another unique dynamic. It's almost like at times going to the barbershop, with conversation. I know remember growing up and going to a barbershop having, everybody's talking about, the sports and then the news and what's happening. And so it's kind of like that camaraderie. Everybody looks, looks after each other. And so it's just an interesting dynamic to have. So I think it's welcoming and it's something that I enjoy. If I can get up for a second, I can kind of just show you what we've been doing regularly. So over here we have our, so since we actually closed, we've been passing out sack lunches Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 12. This is kind of where we have Meals on Wheels. They deliver them to us this way. We package them and we hand them out. And we usually have about 40 people that'll show up daily to get those meals. We just recently kind of did some redecorating. We had the food pantry items that were all right here that we were handing out. We just had to move those around because we're planning on, as of May 3rd, opening back up 3 days a week. That'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 11. Over here, we kind of just had our tables spread out. This is kind of one of the things that we do with our seniors. We have our monthly birthdays. We put them up there, and that's something that everybody really kind of enjoys. When their birthday comes around and having that. We usually have a party at the end of the month. Before the pandemic set in, but that's something that we'll be trying to still figure out once we open back up. And then we have here our industrial kitchen. Another big thing that we try to do is we have breakfast that we prepare here. And that's another thing that we're going to be looking into after, we address this pandemic situation. And so it's really fully functional. And it's something that we're able to offer to our members throughout the community. So that's a tour of our humble establishment.
Well, Jonathan, thank you for that tour. Appreciate that. You might have seen somebody stopped in to pick up a lunch. So as Jonathan talked about, we've been distributing those lunches right along through this entire past year, and in spite of some challenging conditions. So we're grateful for Jonathan's work and all the work that's going on at the center. Jonathan, would you like to introduce Royce to us?
Yeah, this is one of our members, Royce Jones. Comes to the center. Been coming to the center probably since before I was born. So, how you doing, Royce?
Oh, fine.
So, we've kind of just been talking about like the center and the benefits of what it means to have in this particular community. So, just wondering if you have any thoughts about kind of what this center has meant to you, like over this time that we've been closed.
Well, I started before I was even a senior. My father used to come. I used to pick him up. I sat with him sometimes, and after I got older, I forgot about it. And when I got old enough to come here, I started coming, and I liked it because it was around people with my age, and I can talk and understand each other. We had different people because some of them were homeless, some of them were alcoholics or whatever, but we had a good time. We understood each other, at our age. It wasn't a younger person that we were trying to teach something, what we was bringing back to that person in a lifetime. We always got together. And then the workers here was perfect, just for the type of people that was coming in here. They fitted right in. They understood when it was a problem. They understood when things were going bad, and when we needed help, they knew about it. They could pinpoint us to what we were looking for. Because some people for find places to stay or whatever, but it always worked out. We had ups and downs, but it was always up before down. So
I was talking a little bit earlier about the percentage of like people that come down here, that we had a certain percentage that was homeless. So you're not one of those people that are necessarily homeless, but we have. I think that's one of the other unique things about the center is that we have a wide range of people. I think Royce, you kind of live almost in Kentwood, and
yeah.
So you catch a bus to come down here.
Yeah. From 44th Kalamazoo to here, because it's something that I don't like sitting at home. So I found the same way my father was. He always found something different, and this was, and it fitted right with him up until the day he passed. He loved coming down. He said sometimes it was crowded, sometimes it wasn't, and he said it fits in with your lifetime. You grow up with people your age, so you might well be a senior, be around senior, not no, 40-year-old kids and stuff, because they're not going to fit in with your program or what you think. So when you got seniors, you live as a senior, you talk as a senior.
I know one of the things you talked about was the nurses that come in. Can you talk about why that was important to you and some of the other people here?
Well, I had few of them I know that passed this last year that they were homeless and they was in the, living in the street. If but we had nurses that came in. They run, check everybody and everything, and they kept up with how their health was. And they took care of us. They let us know, if you got high blood or whatever, they did that. And then we had police that come in here that set up and talked to us. We had different people that came in and kept us up on what was going on out there in the streets. But it's at seniors, you still learn as you live. It's just knowing your people and understanding life.
So what he's talking about is we have nurses that come from Calvin, Grand Valley, a couple other of the universities that they do like the blood checks, they do chair exercises, and so they kind of develop relationships with the people that's here. Regular, they'll come in, ask, oh yeah, could you do my blood pressure? So they go around, and so they really develop kind of like a bond with even like nursing students. They know kind of when they are, because normally when they're in school, that's when they're here, and when they're like for like summer, they'll be off for summer, and so they kind of know when they're here, when they're not here, and I think it just goes to like that whole family environment, and they check on them, and so they know if somebody's not here, they know who really needs to be checked on, who doesn't need to be checked on, and it's the same thing with the police. We have a community police that regularly comes here. We have coffee. They talk to everybody. Anybody had questions, and so you kind of develop, how they, so you develop a relationship with them. So then when you're out on the street, you see them, they know them, they have a personal relationship, and then they can address whatever needs to be addressed. So it all goes back to that same family kind of environment. And I think it just breeds just like a really positive, encouraging, and uplifting like environment to be in. And so then you have people come from, we have a couple that drives in from, I think, Cedar Springs, like once a week. They'll come here and, do bingo or whatever. And they could probably go to other centers, other places, but they come here. So I really see the value in it. And I get that from them, that they see the value in it. And so I think it means a lot more to them. So
It's great. It's home, as you said. It's home for so many people. So what do you do that's fun in particular here?
I like when we had entertainment. They come in. They usually come in on end of the month, everybody's birthday, which is mine the next month. So
All right.
I'll be the first one to get there. Well, it's more than just me. It's about 10 of us up there. But it's always a get together. When the entertainment is in here, we have people out walking down the street, listening and dancing and having fun, but they know they can't come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, we have one guy, he does magic tricks. He's a member. We got different members that do things, and it's fun. And everybody that comes here, you have some rowdy ones, but after a while, they're okay. After they figure out how everybody is. They come in here sometimes, and if they're not right, Jonathan say, well, you gotta leave and come back tomorrow. They don't argue, they just leave.
Okay. So it feels like a safe center to be in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, Royce. We really appreciate your coming and sharing your story with us. You're why we're here, you and the other people at the center. So we're thrilled you took some time to spend with us.
Okay.
Jonathan, great work here. This is a wonderful center, and really appreciate you putting your mark on it and really doing such a great job with it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And next, we're going to bring our board chair back, Mindy Oliveras. Mindy, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Mindy providing leadership to senior neighbors. We're grateful for that.
I'm humbled to be here and truly just want to thank both Royce and Jonathan for giving us an opportunity to get a real perspective around the important services, connection, community, and family feeling that our senior neighbors provides for a lot of those that we serve. So I want to give you a little bit of a story. We talked early on about the 4,500 seniors that we serve. And as you all probably know, since the early 2000s, we've had more and more folks aging into 60 years and older. And by 2035, we will be the first time in US history where we will have more people 65 and older than those 0 to 20 able to take care of them. And so we've got a few years to really be thinking meaningfully and intentionally about how we can serve our seniors going forward. And I hope today you've seen something that's inspired you, that you'll want to be giving not only of potential treasure, if you will, but maybe even your time, volunteering, or just getting to know a little bit more about senior neighbors so that together we can collectively continue to support all of these individuals who really are the fabric of our community. So with that, I would like to say that we appreciate you joining us today. Again, if you could go to the QR code and either use your phone to share resources now. Otherwise, feel free to go to seniorneighbors.com/give, and we would welcome your donations there as well. .org, sorry. Thank you. In addition to that, just want to give a little plug. As you can tell from both Royce and Jonathan's stories today, it's really a lot around family and around celebration. And if any of you know anyone in Kent County who is 60 years or older, we would also welcome you to go to the website and nominate somebody to celebrate as part of our annual 16 over 60 event. It's a great way to share with the community your loved ones, as well as to give back. So thank you very much. We'll welcome you to go back to your tables. We hope you enjoyed the show.